Hello, Dale here for Arc Hi-Fi. Today we're going to briefly look at the Schiit Audio Lokius 6-band equalizer. The Schiit Lokius equalizer is a 6-band equalizer. It has both XLR and single-ended inputs and outputs. And it has true bypass, and it's available in black or silver. And it comes in at $299. It's the middle equalizer in the 3-model lineup that Schiit Audio offers. Below the Lokius is the Loki Mini Plus. It comes in at $149. It's 4 bands, has only single-ended inputs and outputs, and it's also available in black or silver. And then their top-of-the-line Loki Max, which is a 6-band equalizer, XLR, single-ended inputs and outputs, but everything about the equalizer is controllable via remote control. It has motorized frequency knobs, and I believe it will hold up to 3 presets. So you can have 3 general presets. You can just hit a button and go right into those. Back in the late 60s, going into the 70s, mid to late 80s, equalizers were a much bigger part of stereo and audio systems. Pretty much every major manufacturer offered at least one model of equalizer. When I was a teenager, I had a realistic Radio Shack 5-band equalizer that I inserted in my tape monitor loop in my Pioneer receiver. And I wanted to boost the highs and the lows because I was a drummer. I wanted to hear cymbals and I wanted to hear bass drum. Basically, I liked what was called in EQ speak a smiley face curve. I wasn't really worried about overall tonal quality and noise back then. I just wanted it loud and hear what I wanted to hear. In the 80s, I did have a Pioneer equalizer. It had a digital readout, had memory. But I kind of fell out of favor with that, and moving and different systems, I could just kind of put it away. I brought that equalizer back into my system a few years ago, and I was surprised how noisy it was. So I just got rid of it, sold it. About 6 months ago, I purchased the Schiit Lokius equalizer. I was looking for something to take the place of what is basically a loudness button. Back in the day, receivers, integrated amps they had tone controls, most of them, but they also had what was called a loudness button. You hit it, and it would boost up the low frequencies and the lower mid frequencies. So the music was more pleasing at low volume listening. It sounded thin. And I do some late night listening, and I don't want to wake the whole house up. And I thought the equalizer might be a good for that, and it is. It's great. I boost the low end a little bit, and then I flip it on when I'm listening late, and flip it off. It's true bypass when I don't need it, and I can listen at normal levels. I've also used it to help correct some of the issues with some poor recordings. There's a reason audiophiles rehash the same recordings over and over again, not just because they're great recordings, but the sound quality. There is not a lot of great sounding records out there. Especially today. Everything is, digitally recorded with virtual instruments, drum machines, fake strings, synths, what have you. And the days of recording in that big formal, huge recording studio, there's not much of that goes on, and especially the rock and pop world. So you can use the equalizer to adjust some of the frequencies to make it more pleasing in your room. Also, your room might not be great. It may have a few tonal characteristics that you would like changed, and maybe you can do some minor tweaking with the equalizer to help that, instead of going through a whole DSP, computerized DSP room correction software. If I had to do it over again, I would get the Loki Max. And I may still get one here in the near future. I like the idea of sitting from your chair, adjusting the frequencies without having to get up and down, going back and forth. Especially if I'm playing like a playlist off Roon, where, playing music from different eras, different labels, manufacturers, what have you, different recording quality, you can kind of adjust on the fly fairly quickly. For $299, the Lokius is built like a tank, quiet as a mouse, and I really can't recommend it enough. Especially if you don't have any tone controls, which a lot of components don't these days. I really think it would come in handy. Once you get to playing around with it, you'll start to appreciate it a lot more. Ideally, for me, when using an equalizer, I use it as a reduction tool versus as an addition tool. In other words, if I feel recording or is lacking in bass, I will reduce maybe the mids and the trebles, high ends down a little bit instead of pushing more gain into the speakers, which could add distortion. And this might be even more important with bookshelf systems. The Schiit is transparent enough where you can just boost a little here or there. It's not going to really add any distortion. I've taken it to extremes. I haven't heard any distortion, but a lot of that may be dependent on your amplifier and your speaker systems, things like that. So make a comment below. Let me know. Do you like equalizers? Are you dead set against equalizers? Tell me your experience with them. Also, be sure to hit the like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't already done so. And then follow us over at Arc Hi-Fi on Instagram. We post content every day. So until next time, thanks for watching.